I am still in France, in Brittany, Dinan, France, and I was at the store today, and I saw something that really, I couldn't believe it, because as some of you know, I'm a big fan of Guinness, and I've been a fan of Guinness for a long time, and I don't know if this is not available in America. I don't think. Available in France, I know that because that's where I'm at. And I've got here something brand new to me. And that's Guinness West Indies Porter. Guinness West Indies Porter. Never had it. I never even knew it existed. And porter is, since I was in my early 20s, first off, porter's a hard beer to find, at least in New York State. It's not many porters. Porter's just a dark ale, similar to a stout, maybe a little less body, kind of ambiguous. I saw that Guinness Porter. I'm like, no way. It's no way. I'm like, my favorite style by my favorite brewery. And sure enough, lo and behold, Guinness West Indies Porter. So I got to do a review on it. I'll let you know what I think of it. And I have to admit, I have not been this excited about a beer in years. I don't know, maybe ever. So I'm looking forward to this. And so I'm kind of going into it a little biased. I'm really wanting it to be great. And I expect it will be coming out of Guinness Brewery. And this is brewed in Ireland. It's not an import or from another country. I know they brew Guinness Stout in places in the United States, and I'm sure other places in the world. This comes out of St. James Gate, or James Gate, which is it? Brewed since 1801, St. James Gate, Dublin, Ireland. I couldn't find a lot on this. It's 6% alcohol. I couldn't find anything about the IBUs or the hops, but they said it's from an old recipe that they replicated. And one source has it that this recipe was made by Arthur Guinness himself and first brewed in 1801, and it was his last beer that he made. Was this recipe. Another source has it first brewed in 1821. Either way, this beer is over 200 years old, and they say they have stayed with the same recipe. So, historical beer. So, there it is. There's the label. The label looks pretty old school. I couldn't find anything more about it, other than it's been exported to the West Indies and other places in the world, and it's the same beer they've been brewing for 200 years plus. So I'll tell you what I think of it. I smell hops. It smells like Guinness Stout, but with hops. Get rid of these. All right, well, I'm going to get right to it. Well, it's as dark as Guinness Stout. It looks like Guinness Stout to look at it. Maybe a little more carbonation. Can't see through it. Dark brown beer. The head on it's pretty good, pretty fine, frothy. It looks like a Guinness Stout, quite honestly. That's not a bad thing. All right. tastes like Guinness Stout, but with hops. I don't know, let me try another sip. Yes, it is good. It is good. Um, I really can't say it tastes like Guinness Stout. It's not quite as heavy bodied. Stout's going to have heavier body than a porter. I can taste the hops, but it's a nice balance. It's got a bitter aftertaste. It's good. It's got a little more hops to it. I can taste the hops, like I said. Whereas with the Guinness Stout, all of the Guinness Stouts, the droughts, the extra drought, the Guinness regular stout, they're sweet, like a molasses, bittersweet, but this is more bitter. It's not like an IPA. Oh, it's an easy drinking beer. It goes down pretty easy. It's a little lighter body than the Guinness Stout. A little less of the chocolate, to me, molasses taste than Guinness Stout. Carbonation, it's there. I can already see some good lacing on this. It's well carbonated, not overly so. It's good drinking beer. Goes down pretty easy. It's not to say it lacks body character. It has character. It's got a sour, bitter taste towards the middle and the back, and not as sweet up front as Guinness Stout is. By the way, I paid I think €3 for this bottle, and €1 today's conversion. Hey Google, what's dollar versus euro?
Sure, but first you'll have to unlock your device.
Oh, I already know what it is. This beer would cost, in dollars, I paid about $3.30 for this bottle of beer. And it came in singles, so I bought 2 of them. And it's pretty good. If it were available in New York, and I've never seen this beer anywhere, I've never even heard of it, till I saw it today, I would be buying this. No doubt about it. It's good. Would I prefer this over my Guinness Extra Stout? I don't know if I would. Depends. They're like cousins. They're close. This is a little bit weaker than the Guinness Stout and the alcohol. It drinks easier. It's not as heavy bodied, but it has more bitterness to it. And it is malty. That is not to say you don't get the malt in this. Malty with bitterness. I don't know. It depends what I'm in the mood for. If this were available back home, New York State, I'm certain I would buy this. So I hate to say it. I grabbed this bottle and I was grocery shopping in this French Carrefour. That's the name of a grocery franchise. And they sell wine. In France, you can buy all your beer, wine, and liquor. They got one whole wall full of liquor, and I don't drink liquor. And they got a whole wall full of wines. And they've got a wall and a half full of beer, most of which I've never had. And then there's about a half a wall, or no, another large section just for cider. Some of it zero alcohol, some of it very high. So, and then the rest of the store is anything from chicken wings to ramen noodles to, it's a grocery store, but it has a pretty large booze section. And when I saw this, I'm like, yes! And I went to ring it out, and for some reason, and this is in the center of town in Dinan, guys sit out there on their butt on the sidewalk, even in bad weather, and they sit in front of this store. You never one, it's usually 3 or 4 guys drinking beer, socializing. And I asked somebody, a French person, are these people homeless? They said no. They didn't look like homeless people. There are some, I don't know if they're homeless. There are people that are panhandlers. They're usually sitting there and they don't beg, they don't approach you. They just sit there and they usually have a plate there, and I sometimes give to them, I see a guy my age who seems, I said, that guy's got a story, that's why he's sitting here bumming money. And he doesn't look like he's strung out on anything. I'll throw him a few bucks, but that's besides the point. These guys sitting in front of this place drinking in broad daylight, publicly, talking like they're at the bar, and they're sitting right on the sidewalk drinking beer for some reason in this place. And I think I'm going to get some pictures of them. Do a little story on these little social group. But I tried to tell somebody, just because I like beer doesn't mean I drink beer all the time. Nothing against anybody, I'm not judging anybody, but that's never been my way. But I've always liked beer, but I've tried to keep it real, for the most part. But I was really excited about this. And I'm not let down. It tastes like a Guinness, but it's definitely got more hops in it than Guinness Stout, but nothing over the top. Sour, bitter hops. It's not as sweet. I've already said that up front. It's easier. It's easier to drink in that it's a lighter beer rather than a heavy beer, that would fill you up. Pretty good. That said, it looks like a Guinness Stout. The head on it really didn't look a lot different. And I'm no stranger to Guinness Stout. And you can see the lacing. It's pretty good beer. I don't know, like I was saying, I don't know if it's going to be available in New York State. If you like dark beers, I highly recommend this. And honestly, before I made this review, I thought, I really, psychologically, I want this beer to taste good. Because I've never even heard of it, and I love Guinness. And so I'm going to come into this biased. And I did see some of the reviews on this beer were quite favorable when I was trying to find out information on it, which I couldn't, other than 6% alcohol, and it's brewed in Ireland. But people seem to like it. A few people didn't. I don't know why they wouldn't. Maybe they just don't like dark beers and they don't know it, because this is pretty good. It's fairly smooth. They're not going to let garbage come out of Guinness Brewery. in Ireland. I wouldn't think. 1759, they have set the standard, I think. Well, to tell you the truth, there's a few German breweries. I've had some German beers since I've been here that are outstanding. And I think I'm going to do a review. I'm in France, but I think I'm going to do one more beer review while I'm here, and that's on a German Hefeweizen. And I actually was at the market Thursday morning here in this little small city of Danone. And there was a man there at the market selling his beer. And he was a German man, it turns out. He spoke French, English, and German. And I talked to him for quite a while, and I bought one of his beers, and I'm going to review that. So, I don't know if my neighbor's here or not. I don't think he is. Hope not. So what do I think of this beer? I think it's quite good. For a porter. The best porter I've ever had is Fuller's London Porter. And I don't even know if they make that anymore. But that to me, Fuller's London Porter, if you ever can get it, if they even make it anymore, because I haven't seen it in ages. Very, very good porter. The best. This is probably the second best. And if Fuller's London Porter is no longer around, this is the first best porter I can think of. Yingling Brewery in Pennsylvania used to be there. Their porter, it's cheap. For what it is, it's pretty good too. Yingling's. That's also hard to find. Apparently there's not a huge demand for porters. Well, Sunday, I'm going to Léon Abbey here in France. It's a 10th century abbey. And I had to walk along the river to get to it. Beautiful. I'm going there Sunday to take a class on how Benedictine monks live. That should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that. I hope each one of you is doing well, and to your hardships in life, I trust that you're on top of through the grace of our Lord and the help, myself as well. I don't know where I'm going with this channel, but one day at a time. And yes, Charles, I'm going to play Missouri Waltz. I rather doubt you're watching this beer review, but if you are, I have not forgotten. Missouri Waltz. When I get home to New York, I'll get right on it. And it's a nice song. So it's not like I'm like, I got to do that song. No, I'm looking forward to it because it's a good song. Johnny Cash covered it. And I'm going to cover it on accordion. It's a very good beer. Would there be a market for it? I don't know. Porters don't sell in America. All right, for a porter, Fuller's London Porter, 5 stars. Guinness West Indies Porter. Hold on. 4.8. 4.8. All right, thank you very much.